Hey, folks, welcome back. We are here for the finale of season 2 of Good Omens,
Yes.
episode 6. This is our review. We have thoughts. We wanted to save them. We did enough talking in that last video. Good
We did 2 hours, yo.
gracious.
Was it 2 hours? I think it was
It was
almost two
over
hours.
2 hours.
Oh my
But
goodness. Jeez.
yes. But we're here. We reached the end. I'll start saying that it was not trash. So relief there.
Yeah.
Um, So I guess looking back a little bit, Nate, looking at the season, this episode, how did you feel about how they tied it all together in this episode 6?
I think it made sense. Like I think I explained, I guess, a lot of my reasoning behind the whole heaven and hell or whatever in this long spiel that I had, whatever. But I like that they explained the whole thing of Gabriel. I don't understand why his box was empty, but I do understand why. He dropped the matchbox, but his memories weren't in the matchbox; they were in the fly. That were it was in the matchbox, so
Right.
that explains why the fly was down there. Um, I like the. I guess I liked it. I like the explanation. Um, because Gabriel was able to experience something. So before, since he had no real connection with Earth, he was very blasé about it, right? But then he had a connection, not necessarily with, because of Earth, he had a connection with hell, and realized, you know what, this is a little bit more important than, trying to end the Earth, sort of thing. Um, which I guess is not something that would happen inside of heaven, right? Because the Bible says that, or Jesus says that there will be like the angels, no marriage nor given in marriage or stuff like that. So I'm guessing that was not a thing that would be able to happen in heaven, but Earth was a catalyst for making that a possibility. So I think I like that. Again, I don't really like the whole idea of love is just this emotional thing, but I also love romantic love. so
Yeah.
I did love it.
Yeah, I mean there aren't too many um like stories about like the power of true friendship, right?
Yeah.
Like only. You know what I mean? But
Right.
in a deep way. It's
Yeah.
generally the romantic piece, right?
That's a funny comment because I have, even though I really just love like a romantic I love all forms of genuine love. It just makes me almost want to cry, right? But there I really like the um I sorry, I really I kept telling myself over these past like 10 years or whatever, it's hard to find something that does not have an emotional, like a romantic, loving entanglement inside the story, when they're talking about love. So
Mhm.
just basically what you just said, it's hard to find a story or a movie or something that's based on that, and it's so much so that I actually came across some. I don't know if it was a Facebook post or if it was an Instagram post or something like that, but they were like, one Marvel movie, was it, I think it was a Thor movie or something like that, where they were like, there's, I forgot the statement. They were basically mocking this entire fact that there's always just this romantic,
Mhm.
emotional thing in all these movies, and they were like, there's not one up apart from this one, and I think it's a Thor movie or something where there's no romantic relationship in it. When he was about to fight Hulk, when Thor was going to fight Hulk, whatever one that was, apparently there's
Oh,
No romantic
Ragnarok, yeah.
Ragnarok. Yeah, apparently there's no emotional romantic love story in it, so I don't recall, but anyways, yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like, yeah, it's just we focus so much on that, but there's so much more, and I think love is so much more powerful than just emotional whatever, that it would be nice to see some of that. So let me
Yeah,
stop
I wonder
rambling.
if part of it is like we are just so obsessed with it that even ourselves, once it hits a certain level, we start questioning, like, is this more? Like, is should this be more than just friends? Like, it's like once
Oh.
you hit a point, it's like, wait a minute, how do I feel about this person? And start your mind down that path, even if you don't actually end up there, right? It's
Hmm.
like, you know, um,
Yeah, well, I think the thing is, again, I think it's because we're human, and so we lack a lot of abilities that we might have had in the beginning, or that we might have been able to discover in the beginning, and we might still be able to discover it. But I just think we haven't figured it out. When you love someone, we're going to say platonically, for lack of a real word, a better word, but if you love somebody so much, but platonically, you don't want to be in a like a sexual relationship, we'll say, with this person, but you love them so much that you just want to be a part of them and a part of their life, like all the time,
mhm.
right? I feel like, like it kind of reminds me of kind of what the Bible says about God, and about how God once did this because of his intense love for us. Now, God, we don't think has a sexual relationship with us, but he loves us so much he wants to be in us, you know? And I kind of feel, and I get that sense. So like I had my nephew who passed away, but I had a deep, I wasn't his father, but I had a very deep connection to him. It might have been one way, because as he grew older, like, he was not paying attention to me. Whatever.
It happens.
I'm not, it happens. I'm not mad at that. But like I had this real deep connection to my nephew, and I would have wanted to do anything I could, for him. And then parents have their own kind of connection. But they say that this is a type of love you don't understand unless you actually have kids. They say that, so I can understand that, sort of thing. Um, but when you feel, if it's a possibility for humans to eventually be able to kind of feel like they are inside of this other person, and it's not a sexual or non-platonic, whatever, then they will kind of feel complete. You know what I mean? Was that too convoluted? Was it?
I think I can see where you're going. As you were talking, what was interesting is that I read it with me last year, year before, about there's a trend, at least in the U.S., of essentially like platonic marriages, right? Where it's
Mm,
like people, same sex or not, are like, look, this is my best friend for life. Like, it's not
yeah.
a sexual thing, but
Hmm.
legally, we want to be tied to each other, right? So if you're in the
Interesting.
hospital, I can come do you like we
Hmm.
have all these benefits, but it's not a sexual thing. It's just we are best friends.
Hmm.
We're gonna be tied to each other for life because that's how close we are, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I was like, that's just an interesting way to just because of the way that laws work, right? Like if you're not married here, you
Hmm.
can only have access
Right.
to certain things as far as interacting with that person, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
they do that so they can pass property and they can have things together and have a life together
Hmm.
that's not a sexual thing or romantic thing,
Right.
simply just
Exactly.
BFFs, right?
And that's interesting. I mean, this is probably neither the play, not the place, nor the time
Here we
to
go.
talk about this.
Here
But
we
I
go.
do. I am a. I. This is my personal belief. I don't. I think like sexual kind of whatever is tertiary, right, to any type of relationship. That is something you get to decide if this is something that you want to have in this particular relationship or not. So if you're friends and you want it, you know then you can have it, but you remain friends. If you are married and you don't want it, then you don't actually have to have it in the married sphere, and I think that that goes right along with it. Again, probably at a time or place, but I just brought it up. So
I got you. I got you. So back to the story though. So
yes.
you feel like it ended in a good way. You know, as I was looking at it, I do like how they kind of wrapped up all the mysteries. I'm
Hmm.
guessing they're still saving some Crowley mystery for season 3, which is fine. But I feel like
Probably.
there's still something happening there that we don't know.
I
And
think they're
and
going to try to
yeah,
go ahead.
I'll feel sad if that's not the case.
Oh,
If we've only just been like reading too much into it and there's nothing more to it. That would feel sad.
then like his like power level, or
Yeah,
what do you
power
mean?
level,
Like,
just something about him we don't know that's significant about who he
mm,
was before, right? I feel
okay, yeah,
like they're building up that is the case.
yeah. He
Um,
seems to have more of a mystery about him than anybody else. You
right,
know.
and I hope that that's not us just assuming. I hope that there is something there and that they show it
Hmm.
to us later. That
Yeah,
that I don't know now, I'm fine. I don't need to know that.
yeah.
To
But
Gabriel,
mm,
I'm still wondering. Man, I had this question before and then it's starting to leave me. I
oh,
was talking too much and then it was like, but
butterflies.
yeah, how much of what happened did he intend, right? So we know he was like, "Oh shoot, they're going to like wipe my memory.
Right,
Let me put that memory in this fly."
right.
Right. Outside of that, how much of the rest of anything was on purpose? Right?
Hmm.
Even him going to Aziraphale, like did he is that just instinctually? Did he do something to help himself get there? Right? Like, what do you think was going to happen? Right? Because you put your memory in this fly.
Hmm.
Like, what's the rest of the plan? Like, was like that's not a plan, right? that's just
Right,
that's just now your memory's over here and you're naked and you go to Aziraphale. Like, what? Like, we didn't. They never showed us like what his what he was intending to do, right? They showed
right.
him go off and do some things
Hmm.
and set some things up, but we had no understanding of like, oh, Gabriel's plan was this.
Right.
We just knew he
That's
had
true. We
feelings
don't really
for
know what
yeah,
his specific plans were, but he did say that they said that he would be safe there, which Beelzebub alluded to. When they said they, I assume they meant he was talking about multitudes. He might have been talking about Beelzebub. He might have had contact with Beelzebub before, and Beelzebub was like, "Go to Aziraphale," right?
correct.
Um, and because Beelzebub said he was able to protect you far better than they will be able to,
Hmm.
right? So I think there was some kind of maybe contact, but I don't know what the story like. I don't know what Gabriel thought the end game was going to
Well, that's
be.
what I'm
You
saying.
know?
Like, okay, the plans go to Aziraphale. Got it.
Hmm.
Y'all planned that beforehand. Cool.
Right?
What?
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, and I mean that's not a huge thing. Like,
Until when? Yeah,
yeah,
or
like
whatever.
I
Yeah.
know I'm nitpicking in a way, but like I was just like, so what was like that's not really a plan, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
part of
Hmm.
a plan.
That's
But
like
like,
a you're a fugitive.
yeah, like ultimately I think you two want to escape together, seeming that
Hmm.
that would have been like the goal, right? So
Hmm.
what did you guys do to help make that happen? Like
Right.
I didn't say anything besides at the end of it, you just kind of said, "Hey, look, can we just leave?"
Hmm.
When they got found
Yeah.
out. Which why don't you just do that, right? Like, okay,
Right. Yeah.
pause. Let me just tell you the truth. Like, because Gabriel was just like kind of nonchalant about like, oh, well, I don't want to. Armageddon think I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna tell you
Right.
why. Like,
Hmm.
what was
But he wasn't going to be able to tell them why.
he could
That's
have?
that's
I mean, he could have said like what would have happened to him. I guess he was just scared they were going to destroy him. I don't know because I'm like
because
they
then they thought he was collaborating with Hell, which is what what's her name? Michael is doing anyway. So to be honest,
yeah it's
he shouldn't have been afraid, but he didn't know. I'm assuming so.
yeah, I don't know. It's he had much less foresight than I thought he would have had, given the
Mm-hmm.
way he was acting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you nothing. Okay, fine, just do that. And then like, what the plan was, just no plan. Okay,
Maybe.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a
Yeah. I
nitpick,
don't know.
but I'm not mad about it. I'm just like that's something that I was like, wait a minute. I thought I would know more about the plan,
Mhm.
but it seemed like he didn't really have one.
Yeah, it didn't sound
Um,
like no, that he was just running for
yeah.
his life,
So
for his memory.
how'd you feel about that aspect, the aspect of the Gabriel Beelzebub piece? Did you like that? Did you not like that? Did it
I mean,
bring something?
I like the way that they portrayed how it developed, you know, just accidentally, you know? And yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting it by any means. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm always happy when people are, especially like sworn enemies, are able to kind of reconcile, like,
Right.
sort of thing. So I guess that's one of my weaknesses. Um, it's just like a redemption arc,
Yeah.
just like he did it for love, like he was like, yeah, that's so I liked it. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, part of it, I just go back to our discussion just around like, must it always end up romantically, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
there's a scenario where they could have just been like had a partnership, right? Like, hey,
Right.
look,
Hmm.
we want to be together, but also like this is all kind of stupid. Let's see if we can fix this, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because he didn't at all try to fix anything in heaven.
No. Yeah.
He basically just burned the bridge and left. You
Right.
know, like like, huh? Like you can't, like, and I guess I don't know, like there's something to be said for, hey, this place is irredeemable. I'm going to leave, right?
Right. Yes. Hmm.
Which I don't know that he necessarily seemed to.
Care
I
about.
saw no indication that he felt that way about it.
Right. He seemed to be just focused on maybe his relationship or
Yeah,
something
just
like
very
that.
flippant about, like,
Yeah.
about that. So, how much of a redemption arc is it versus he found love, but is
Hmm.
he actually all that different of a person? You know?
Yeah, I don't know if
Um
he's, but he know he. I guess maybe he's learned that it's worth this fight between heaven and hell is not worth it. It's not going. It's not doing what it should be doing. Or they shouldn't be having it at all. I guess that's maybe the closest to a redemption arc that maybe he
right.
had.
Yeah.
He also recognized that Aziraphale would be able to protect him, right? So he wasn't forced to do that. He recognized that. So, it doesn't have to be necessarily an apology or something like that. He might have also recognized that he couldn't change heaven, right? He just wouldn't be able to, especially if he's having to protect his kind
You
of
don't know till you try.
budding relationship with. Well, I mean, yeah, but you can't force somebody. That's the whole problem. You can't force somebody to recognize their, uh, you can't force them to recognize where they are wrong, and then kind of get them to change.
True. But
It's.
I think if he was interested in trying to change it,
Hmm.
right, he could have given his reason for disagreeing with the decision, right? Now, they could
Yeah.
be like, "Well, we disagree with you." Right?
Hmm.
Cool. But at least you give them the opportunity for them to
But I mean, like,
change.
he has a lot of time that he spends with them, and he knows what their. So the only reason why he changed is because he had to interact with Earth, and then that's how he started interacting with Beelzebub. The rest of them don't have that. So unless they have that experience, they're not going to be, I guess, reformable in his eyes. I could understand that. Um, I do agree. You can say something. Probably should say something if you recognize that something is wrong. But he also probably didn't, like, really think that through, and it
Seems to
might
not be
not
his
be his.
personality either.
Yeah, it might
I
not be
mean,
in his personality precisely.
right.
Aziraphale, it is definitely up his it's definitely up his alley, right? This is
Right.
literally what he's made to do. Like,
Right.
this is.
Which is why I'm thinking about like the redemption arc piece, right? That's why I
Mhm.
don't really feel like Gabriel is redeemed. I feel
Mhm.
like Gabriel is the same person. Gabriel just has a different focus, right?
Mm.
Like Gabriel has no heart to like try to fix things,
Right,
right?
but it's
Or
not his place to fix it, right?
to even care, right? He seems to not care about the fact that it's unfair. He just wants to leave with Beelzebub and go, right? Like Like, I don't care about any of this, right? I'm just leaving.
Hmm.
Whereas Aziraphale is like, man, like, this is all messed up.
Right.
Like, can we try to fix it? Now,
Right.
maybe that's naive, but that's where his heart is, right? He's like,
Right.
man, I really wish this whole thing was different, and I think we can work and fix this.
Right.
Gabriel's like, I like this person. I'll see y'all later.
Right. So okay, this is okay. So this is where I'm coming from. So Gabriel was um he was pivotal in getting this Armageddon to happen. Like he was wanting this Armageddon to happen, right? He saw the error of his ways through all of this contact and realized I shouldn't be doing this, right? So he did veto Armageddon, and he was like, "Let's. What else is up on the roster?" And they started talking about that, right? Then he got ousted, right? So he did veto it. He just they just don't didn't they were like he's not doing his job, right? Because in their eyes this is his job. But then also because he was so adamant about doing getting the Armageddon, and he was about to and he was trying to kill Aziraphale, to destroy Aziraphale, um turning around and saying, excuse me, I don't want another us, we're not going to try Armageddon again, and I know that Aziraphale is the one to be trusted. And when he was there, even though he didn't have his memories as Aziraphale, he was regretful of what was happening. Right? I feel like that um like when Crowley was talking to him and he was like, I am really sorry. Is there anything I can do? Crowley was like, go jump out a window. And he tried to go jump out a window and he was like, no. So like I feel like that was him repenting for his actions, but I don't think that puts him into the position where he can do what Aziraphale has been trying to do the entire time. Right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was his position. He did what he needed to do. So there's not going to be another Armageddon. They were trying to do it. He stopped it. But because of that, he got kicked out. Right. So there's nothing more that he can do. Right. Um, and now Aziraphale is getting put in this position. I guess I don't regret him going into this position because it's necessary. I think if anyone's going to do it, he's going to be the one to do it, and I'm pretty sure Crowley is going to help him because he just loves him that much. Even though he just is, he was vehemently trying to fight against it. He loves him that much that he might not go to heaven, but he will make whatever it is that Crowley is trying to make happen. You know, so I think that's what season 3 is going to be about. But yeah, again, I think that was Aziraphale's job because that's what Aziraphale has been trying for the whole series, right? The only problem is his sight, Aziraphale's focus is wrong. He's still focused on you all are wrong, we are right. I don't think
right.
it's the case. Crowley's understanding is a little bit better where it's like it's neither of the case. I wasn't trying to be wrong. I'm put me into a category that makes me wrong, right? Because that's what Metatron was saying. He was always asking those something stupid questions or
Right.
something like that, right? Trying to make it seem like we're indicating this is what heaven is about. It shouldn't be about that. So it's not about heaven being right and there being wrong. And Aziraphale is misguided. But again, Aziraphale, I think, is in the proper position to, if he can come to that understanding about it not being heaven being right and hell being wrong, he can make that change. But again, you can't force people to make that change if they don't want to. And I kind of feel like he might end up abandoning his post for that very reason, unless he
Yeah.
gets some kind of backup, because it doesn't sound like he's got much backup up in heaven. So,
At the very least, hopefully, he should be able to get more
the
true information, right? Because he seems to not know as much
only way
as he
he's
would
going to
need
get
to,
true
right?
information, I think, is actually speak to God, because everyone who is speaking on God's behalf is telling them some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing God has done so far is because even the Armageddon, first Armageddon, none of them were still understood what the ultimate plan was,
No,
right?
exactly.
So
Mhm.
they still weren't even aware of that. The only thing God did do was seemingly confuse that baby situation, right?
Yeah.
Like all the cars and all that stuff, right? Like they
Mhm.
made it seem like God had something to do with causing some confusion in that instance, right? Or
Mhm.
at least knowing what was going on there, right? And
Right.
not really intervening. So this whole path seems to, in some ways, be guided by God in some way, but they've never said at all like what this God is even like. Besides the intimating that is just there to just, you know, kicks and giggles and cause confusion and confuse everybody.
Right.
Right? Which would be interesting if that was actually the ultimate, is just doing stuff, right? Just
Mhm.
randomly doing things and just seeing how
Right.
y'all deal with it,
Right.
and how they interact with that. But
Well, I think that a a good I think thing to consider is the reason why none of these people know the plan is because none of them ask the questions. So they don't get to talk to God, but I don't think it's they don't get to talk to God because God won't talk to them. They don't get to talk to God because they don't ask God, excuse me, anything. Right. So Aziraphale tried to talk to God and it got with the Metatron. And then that's where, kind of where he stopped, right? He's afraid to ask questions. I feel like that's what's going to happen in heaven. He's going to be kind of, especially if the Metatron is putting him in this position, he's going to be afraid to ask questions. He's probably going to try to go ask Metatron. Metatron ain't trying to share with him any information, right? He wants him to do his bidding the way he thinks things should go because he thinks he speaks for God. But what's interesting is I think that this was this season. I can't remember this. I know I'm pretty sure it was this. I think it's this season. The whole Job story was that
mhm.
the season.
That was like episode 1, I think, or 2. Yeah, I think it's episode 1.
They were jealous or envious of the fact that Job got to speak straight to God. But if you look at the whole story of Job, Job asked God directly, "What did I do?" And he mourned about it for a while before God came and broke it down to him. But he asked questions. They're not asking questions.
Right.
They are
Yeah.
just assuming this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I to that point, I think I'm hoping season 3 goes into that
Mhm.
again for us to be able to see what actually happened when heaven split, right? Because
Mm.
there's this whole idea of questions, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
so what were the questions that caused that level of like a schism in the ranks, right?
Right.
It wasn't
Mhm.
just a question, right? So
Right,
which
yeah.
question was it and why did that question cause this result and who actually kicked them out, right?
Right. Mhm.
How involved has God been in any of this?
Right.
Was God just
Mhm.
watching all of this happen,
Mhm.
right? And never actually personally kicked anybody out, just watched kind of this organization split in two, right?
Mhm.
And keep running this way. And
Yeah.
ultimately is trying to at some point get it back together, but
Right.
not actually directly telling anyone what the actual plan is.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's kind of just in kind of real life. I think that's God's like MO anyway, you know? Is not necessarily telling you how to do things, right? But um kind of letting you figure it out yourself. That's how you become wise when you know how to act, when to act, and stuff like that. Telling you if you want to know, if you leave yourself open and you ask questions, giving you some kind of tidbits of information where you wouldn't have been able to get any type of information you needed this for a certain thing or blah 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 blah. But in the grand scheme of things, you get to create your own world. It's like a playground. You get to create your own world. So if that's what he's allowing on earth, I don't see why he wouldn't have allowed that in heaven, right? So the Bible, for example, doesn't say that God the Father kicked the angels out or the fallen angels out. It says that Michael kicked the angels out. If they go by that interpretation in this story, Michael, or along with Gabriel, they would have kicked him out because they weren't following what these perceived as rules. But now it could be that they come to realize, maybe or maybe not, that they were incorrect. They misjudged the whole situation. You know, they think that because Aziraphale, like I said, if Aziraphale thinks that heaven is right and hell is wrong, then heaven most definitely thinks that they are right and heaven is wrong, or and hell is wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think God is leaving it up for them to decide, And I think that's really kind of what the whole history of, like we were talking about, the whole story of Earth is anyway. Letting other people see, and then they can make up their mind. They can decide on their own. God's not forcing them to do anything, but understand what real love is about, because God's like, I am love. So they're like, okay, this is what love really means, willing to fight for something, someone, tooth and nail, or, have their back, or, whatever the situation is, recognize that you were doing wrong, and repent and change and try to do right, or whatever. Just letting people understand themselves what the reality is. I think that's what it is. So
Yeah.
31 minutes later.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting because I'm just thinking about different things, and I'm wondering. I guess I'm going to be very curious in season two how that's resolved. I'm also curious how they're going to interpret what they mean by second coming. Right?
Yes,
Do you
that was
think
interesting for
we're
me.
going to see a Jesus character? We have to, right?
Yeah, they showed the Jesus character, but not up close. Like, he was just on a cross.
Right. Well, yeah, but I'm meaning as far as an actual character in the series
Right.
as
Yeah,
part of this second coming storyline, right?
that's gonna be interesting. Yeah,
Right,
because
and how do they interpret who this person is, where they come from?
mhm.
What does this mean? Um,
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. I didn't think about that. I wanted to see what their concept of, like, a second coming is, but I didn't think about the whole, like, how, yeah, like, so according to our understanding, the second coming is Jesus, right? But also according to our understanding, Jesus is Michael. Um, and the reason why that's so important is because it is Michael that's supposed to be coming in the second coming. Um, I think that's the text, right? It's like when Michael stands for his people or something like that. And um, I'll have to find it. I'll probably try to edit that into the to the episode.
like message.
Yeah, exactly. So, but so that's what's going to be very
Yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I think we're safe saying that Michael and Jesus are two separate people in this universe, right? Um,
Probably, yeah.
yeah, they've definitely not combined those, and I don't even think all branches of Christianity necessarily agree that that's the case, right? So that
Yeah, again, that
yeah,
might have been poorly translated or something like that. I
right.
don't know, but,
So
like,
that they're
or
different.
misunderstood. Yeah.
But I'm wondering, are they going to have like a godhead, for example? I don't know, right? Like how they can represent this, right?
Hmm.
Um, if this person is going to be just Jesus, just a regular human that comes back, right? How
Hmm.
do they explain like who is this person? What's it gonna mean, right? Or is it gonna be something totally different, some other
Right.
second coming that we don't even, who
Yeah.
knows how they even interpret that?
Right. Yeah. Because we're just
Um,
coming at it from, like,
yeah,
the Bible, but there's all of these other
yeah. There's
books and
any
stuff
ways they
like
could have
that,
done
and
that,
yeah.
and is any of that second coming plan, right? Is that just a Metatron plan,
Hmm.
right? Or is that like part of the ineffable plan? Like
Right.
who's doing this?
Right.
Um,
The ineffable plan. Yeah.
do you think Gabriel comes back and Beelzebub, or are they gone for good?
They seem to be gone for good. They might come back for the final showdown, I suppose, but, like, during the rest of the season, I don't know. I
Gotcha.
don't think that they would.
Another question: do you think Aziraphale gets his halo back?
I mean, I don't think he got rid of it. I think it was
Well, he
just a
said he
power
exploded
move.
it.
Yeah, but, like, I don't
So
think that.
you think it explodes and it comes back?
Yeah, yeah, I don't think it's. a. I don't think it's Yeah, no. But what I'm interested is if he actually gets in this position. Does he get in this position? And if he does, what kind of unholy power is he and and Crowley going to have combined? Like I say unholy sarcastically. Like, like what are they going to really be able to do? So like, anyways, I am very excited about that. So
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So, how about Maggie and Nina?
yeah, I think it was Nina.
Do
Yeah.
we see them getting together season 3, or you think they're even going to be around season
Oh,
3?
I don't think they're even going to be around
Do you
season three.
think
I think that
that's just
they,
done?
yeah, I think that's just the whole like the who is it the Pulsifer or
Oh yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I can't get the name right. But yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. I would thought they might have come back, but yeah, they would definitely didn't come back at all. So
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
they could be written out.
Yeah.
Shaq's probably coming
Someone you
back
really knew.
in some way. Maybe same
Probably.
face, maybe a different face. Who knows?
Right. New actor. Tris.
It's an easy way to do that. Oh yeah, I changed my face.
Yeah.
Move on.
I mean, they played into it. I thought they were just going to ignore the fact that,
Right.
but yeah.
I
So,
wonder, just superficially,
mm.
if they changed the actor. I guess I don't know the person. I don't know if
Yeah,
they
I don't
changed.
know. That's a good
If
question.
yeah, I don't know how much of any of this is character related versus actor related.
Right.
As far
Yeah.
as the pronouns, I don't know.
Hmm.
So I'll just say the actor. That's generic. But I
Hmm.
wonder if they changed the actor knowing it was going to have this romantic piece, right? And they were like, this other one doesn't really have the romantic vibe we're looking for, so let's
Oh.
change the Beelzebub to be this person. Because it would
Yeah,
have
I don't
been
know.
it'd have been a different vibe had it been the other one. I don't even remember what they look like,
Would
but
have been? I don't know. I think they would have been able to play that out.
but a different vibe. That's not the same. Because this Beelzebub was much it's much more of an attractive person. I'll just put it that
Oh.
way. I was trying to I was trying to dance around her, so and I'm just hey, look, it is what it
Okay.
is. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, all right. So on the episode, how do you think you rate this one as far as
Oh, I
episodes
I,
go?
I think I probably rated a good um maybe 8, maybe. Yeah.
I
What
think
are
I'm
you
somewhere at
thinking?
8, 9 as well in there as well.
Yeah.
Somewhere around that those parts.
I was thinking
Um
9, but I was like, sorry about that. I was thinking 9, but
yeah.
then I was like, no, I'll stick with 8.
Yeah, I think 8 was good. How did you feel about I guess we talked about the relationship that Crowley and Aziraphale had.
Well, I mean, I guess we really didn't talk about how we felt about that separation. I mean, we pretty much called that though. We knew
Yeah. I mean, it kind of
I
had
mean,
to
Crowley
happen.
wasn't going to
Yeah,
be
Crowley
thrilled about it.
it's interesting that Aziraphale failed to see that he would never want to do that.
Yeah, that's
Despite
weird,
how you
isn't it?
personally feel about it, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
you didn't know that he would not
Right.
want to go back there, right?
Or maybe he overestimated the way that they felt for each other, you know.
Right.
So he'd be
You
like,
but knowing full well he would hate that, you were
you were
hoping
still,
that
yeah,
he would do it just for you, kind of.
right,
Like
yeah. And that's kind of, I think that is kind of blind,
yeah,
or very blind, I suppose, because no, you don't do that to somebody. You don't try to force them into, like, for example, Liam would hate to live in Geneva, right? So I'm like, I would not try to get Liam to move back to Geneva, I knowing how much he dislikes it. I know he loves me,
right.
but I know he disloves Geneva. So
Disloves.
I'm not going to think, you know, h- he's going to have to try to thrive in Geneva. If he doesn't like it, it's not going to work regardless of how, like you were just saying, love isn't enough,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
not
that's just
enough,
gonna
or
be
Eros isn't enough. So
terrible. Yeah,
yeah.
no.
So yeah, I wasn't. I guess I wasn't shocked that he thought that because of the way he Aziraphale thinks, but I'm
Right.
sad that he didn't. But I'm very happy that Crowley was able to tell him how he felt. I wasn't expecting to kiss, like I said, but I'm happy that it happened, sort of thing, because I just love that sort of thing. But I'm sad that it ended on such a kind of a sour note because Aziraphale just was so short sighted, you know. But probably maybe what do they call that? Eternally optimistic.
Right.
But he is short sighted. He's not seeing the whole picture. And just like Crowley said it, he was like, I think I'm seeing it a lot better than you are, And I think that is true. Aziraphale is just for some reason, but maybe that's also why he's being put into this position, is because since he's not jaded, which Crowley is
Right.
clearly, Aziraphale
Clearly.
can do something possible. I don't know if he'll probably remain throughout the season 3. He'll probably remain an archangel, but he'll probably see how whack it is. So
Got it.
whatever.
Got it.
Yeah,
Well, folks, it's been a fun ride.
yeah, it
Now,
has
I'm
been.
curious, and I'll ask this on here. I want you guys to put in the comments. Would you like to join us for like a season 2 hangout? Do it another live. So we did this before for Wheel of Time, where we kind of had kind of a hangout with the people and talked about the season, got into a little more theories and stuff. So let me know in the comments below if y'all would want to do something like that with us, and we can
Hmm.
maybe make that happen. I don't
We
know.
could.
Yeah, we could. We could be fun. If y'all say no, that's whack, then we're not doing it. So how about that?
Yeah. It would be a lot of fun to do, especially since we all know that season 3 is coming. So then we could just start spitting out, since no one knows what's going to happen. There's no
Yeah,
books, there's no nothing. We can all just start spitting out, like, clearly won't be spoilers because we don't know. We'll
yeah.
just spit out our ideas and
Throw
stuff
our
like that
theories
for how
out,
this. Yeah.
play some games, have some trivia, all kind of fun stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm
let us
really
know.
loving trivia. I love trivia. I'm supposed to be
Yes,
getting more trivia out there, but
it
it's
happens. It
doing
happens.
things.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well,
Yeah.
folks, it's been a fun season. Sad to see it end, but
Yeah.
hopeful for probably 2025 to see season
Probably.
3.
Yeah.
But
They're
in the
probably working on it
meantime,
now.
we'll be here. We'll keep watching stuff, reacting,
Mhm.
reviewing, having a
Yep.
good time.
Yes.
I don't know.
Stay
Anything
tuned
else?
for our Percy Jackson.
Yes, yes. Percy Jackson is up next on the
Yes, it
docket,
is.
so you'll
Yes.
see those shortly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's been pretty fun so far. I'm liking it.
It has been. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is a kids show.
Yes, you'll hear us discuss that as well. Don't be hating on us. Look, we just got opinions.
We
We just got
do.
we just
We're
got
their
opinions.
unofficial opinions. We're sorry.
Hey,
We're not trying to be mean.
it is what it
Or
is.
nice. Like we're
Right.
just trying to be.
Just the facts, but
Yeah.
mostly opinion.
Mostly opinion.
All right. We'll see y'all next time. Ta-ta.
Ciao.